Hey, you got time for a beer? I know I do. Welcome to my show. My name's Jake. It's Thursday, which means I got a new beer here for you. Don't forget, you can find me at tubajake_69 on Untapped YouTube and Twitter. And on Instagram, you can find me at tubajake_. Don't forget to tell me your stories. I like to hear them. Hopefully you do too, because I'm going to keep telling you stories. Whether they're my stories or somebody else's stories, I'm going to keep telling them. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, because I like it when you do that. So the beer I've got for you today is Terps. It's by Old Nation Brewing Company. They're out of Williamson, Michigan, just on the road here. It's a hazy New Zealand Double India IPA. 9% alcohol by volume, 65 IBUs. The malt, Pilsner, oat, wheat, dextrose. The hops, New Zealand Aromatic, Australian Galaxy, South African Southern Passion. So it should be interesting, I'm hoping. I mean, this is likely a hazy, so we'll see how that goes. Kind of looking forward to it. Let's get that started. Okay, so all those hops, it'll be fine. This should come out like super orange is the hope. I was rolling around a little bit before, hoping that it would end up doing what it's supposed to be doing, so I didn't have to worry about too much sediment at the bottom. We'll see how this works out. It's an awful lot of head on that. Okay, so it's an IPA, 9%. It should hold head pretty well, so it's not terribly surprising that there's head on this. It is orange, like it's supposed to be. Fairly murky, not super easy to see through. A lot of smell. I haven't looked this one up. I haven't had it before at all, ever. Got it down at Horrocks the other day. I had to go down to Lansing for some work stuff and decided to take a little bit longer lunch. I don't think it's really a lunch because I hadn't eaten before that. So breakfast at Horrocks. So I had a non-alcoholic beer and bought some stuff that I needed from down there. Grabbed a few beers, some different ones like the that habanero, the mango habanero Oberon. Got that down there the other day. This one, a couple other ones. The spring IPA or IPL from Shorts. Got that there because I was like, I figure I can probably find this someplace else other than right here at the brewery, and I did, and it was on clearance because I mean it's summer now, so obviously something new coming through. All right, that's probably going to be good. Okay, so murky, orange, kind of what I'm expecting. Terps. So terpenes are the oils that give hops their flavors. I've got a feeling that terps is a shortening of that. So this should taste like hops, but because it's a hazy, it's probably going to taste a lot closer to the citrus side of hops than to the pine side of hops, if that makes sense. I mean, you can definitely taste the citrus flavors in it. Some like orange zest. I mean, with it looking as much like orange juice as it does, you'd expect it to taste like orange zest, right? I would. It could just be the color of it that's making me think that. Kind of a pineapple flavor in there. Oddly enough, it's like orange zest, but we pushed we pushed some spruce in through the rind and then put that in there. There's definitely a pine quality to this too that I like in an IPA. New England IPAs, this one's a New Zealand IPA though, so apparently it's different. a little bit more, I'm not going to call this dry. It is tasty. I like it. That's good, right? Is it bad if I say, what beer does this remind me of? And I say the M43? Because I mean, it does. It tastes like it's probably the M43 with hops from across the world. Southern Hemisphere mostly. New Zealand, Australia, South Africa. So it's interesting. Can't tell if that's a flavor that I'm getting from my mouth or if that's a flavor that I'm getting from the beer, but I'm tasting cucumber in this, which could be just about anything. I mean, okay, so there's a gigantic mountain on this. I'm not sure what mountain that's supposed to be. It's probably a really super specific one and famous and all that fun stuff. I don't know. What I do know is that there are not mountains here. I mean, there's Mount Pleasant, which, I mean, it's not a mountain. It's not mountainous. It is flat, like everywhere else around here in the middle of Michigan. It's a dried up riverbed here. It really is. Beautiful place to grow up in, but also flat. I'm mostly here, like on the east side of the state, mostly flat. You get some hills over on the west side of the state, but mountains, not really. I think there might be some, like the Porcupine Mountains up in the UP are sort of mountains, but even then they're old mountains, like the Appalachians, but like they're just big hills, for real. Does this remind me of a story? I mean, it'd be nice if I could be like, yeah, this reminds me of when I went to New Zealand, South Africa, Australia. I haven't been to those places. I did get to go to England, Scotland, and France when I was just after my senior year in high school, which was fun, but also it was a school trip, so I didn't get to go there and go drinking. I did have a friend that went to New Zealand for a study abroad. He did not come back with a girlfriend, which is probably better for him because his girlfriend is super awesome. And she was actually one of our demands as the Tuba Union. But I'm not going to say to you how that read because it is not kind to her or to us. A lot of the things that we did were very sexist, racist, homophobic. I'd say it was the times that we grew up in, but also mostly we did it to be offensive, and knowing full well that it was offensive and that made it funny, because we are not like that. Although there were people that took that stuff to heart, and they didn't last long, oddly enough. Yeah. But yeah, Lunchbox went to New Zealand, came back with one of those fish hook things on a necklace, which looked really strange on him because, you know, he's a geologist. Actually, now he's a geologist. Then he was also a geologist. But, like, he's tall and kind of, I don't know, how would you describe Lunchbox? A little bit gumpy. He looked like a tuba player, but like a 6'5" tuba player, a thin tuba player at 6'5", because we also had 6'5" tuba players who were not thin, that were actually built like NFL linemen. But those guys didn't have the motivation to do that, so they were not that. But they did like music, which, better for us. I don't know. What else do I know about those places? When I was still in high school, I think, one of my youth pastors. Well, I guess the youth pastor was Jim, and then his wife Vicky was going through college to become a teacher, which is very cool. They were very good at their job. So went through school. Came time for student teaching, and she decided, because her kids were both older by the time she got to be doing her student teaching, the one was, I think the one that Jackie had just graduated, and Jim was going to Northern still, but he also ended up down in the Caribbean doing stuff down there, oceanography things, I think, if I remember right. But anyway, Jim and Vicky decided that Vicky was going to do her student teaching over in Australia, which I thought sounded really cool, but also would be, well, when I got to do my student teaching, I thought that would be super scary. Would probably look really good on a resume, but I would have been terrified. I mean, are they going to expect me to stay there once I get done with all that stuff? Are they going to expect me to? I don't know. It would have been super fun though, super fun, but terrifying. Absolutely. Oh. Teaching overseas. Reminds me of my friend Paul. I worked with Paul. I was a substitute teacher at his school, well, my sister's school also. He taught science. I did actually teach science there too, sort of. And then I did not teach there anymore. So Paul decided that he didn't want to teach down there anymore, so he left. Decided to get a job in finance or something like that. His brother helped get him the job, and Paul decided that didn't work for him, so he got jobs with the American schools. Taught in Myanmar for a little while. He got out just before all of that erupted there recently. I know he was doing trips in like Mongolia, so I think he was teaching in China someplace. I don't know if it was in Mongolia that he was teaching or not. My guess would be no, but he looks happy. He's traveling. Looks like he's having a blast. He's got somebody to travel with too, which is kind of awesome. Well, I mean, the people that they have doing that are people from all over the world, and they, I think the way that works out, you can't stay in the country for more than like a month at a time, so they have to take breaks. Like, oh, you've got to be off this week because you can't be in the country this week. We'll bring you back just as soon as you can come back, but we're paying for your vacation to this other country right nearby. Which seems cool, and he shares a lot of really cool pictures of him doing really cool stuff. Anyway, I've got a quote for you. This one is from Venus Williams, one of the famous Williams sisters, but the older one, not the younger one. She's actually like my age, which is super strange to me. But anyway, she said, you have to train your mind as much as your body. That's what she said, but I'm going to say your mind lasts a lot longer than your body. And if your mind is trained, you can make your body do a lot of things that it should not be able to do. Which is kind of cool. Mind's a weird thing. Body's a weird thing. Anyway, don't forget, you can find me at tubajake_69 on Untap, YouTube, and Twitter. And on Instagram, you can find me at tubajake_. Don't forget, please tell me your stories. I like to hear them. Hopefully you like to hear mine, because I like telling stories. I know a lot of really super interesting people. I've done a few super interesting things. But, I mean, most people that I know are super interesting, so I tell their stories too when I can. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, because I like it when you do that. It makes it so more people can see this, and I appreciate that. I think that's all I've got for you. I'll see you next time when you got time for a beer.